Okay, so for you today, deep dive time, right? And we are going to unpack the latest and greatest from the AIDB newsletter.
Yeah.
And it is dated today, April 4th, 2025.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. This is, like a fantastic snapshot of all things AI, like right now.
Yeah, actually.
Like what is happening?
It really is a great pulse check.
Pulse check, exactly. And we're going to kind of focus on 4 key developments.
Get it.
Specifically, things that are impacting creative tools, and then also the ever-changing world of e-commerce.
Always changing.
Always changing.
Yeah.
So our mission, if you will, is to take these insights and kind of pull out what's really important for you.
Yeah, make sense of it all.
To make sense of it all, because there's a lot here.
A lot going on, and a lot of it matters for, how we work, how we live, how we think even.
Absolutely.
And this newsletter does a great job of picking out some of the things that are making the biggest splash right now.
Okay, so let's dive into the first one here.
Right.
So it kicks off with the launch of Midjourney V7's alpha.
Big news.
Big news.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who are, kind of keeping an eye on the AI image generation scene, this is a pretty significant event.
Huge. Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah, it's been a buzz.
And Midjourney even, they ended their what they call relaxathon just a couple of days ago on April 2nd.
Oh, wow.
Just to get their servers ready.
Wow.
What do you make of that?
Well, I think that just speaks to the level of anticipation that's been building around this release.
Right.
Midjourney has really become synonymous with AI image generation.
Yeah.
And every time they come out with a new version, people pay attention.
Right.
And so the fact that they had to, pause their relaxathon, which, as I understand it, it's this period where image generation is a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
Just to prepare for the influx of users.
Right.
Wanting to try out V7, I mean, that just shows you how much demand there is.
Yeah, it really does.
And how much is at stake for them.
Yeah, and they're not being shy about, their assessment of it either.
Right.
I mean, they're calling this V7 their smartest, most beautiful, most coherent model yet.
Bold claims.
Bold statements.
Yeah.
So the newsletter points out a few key new features.
Right.
The first one being these enhanced capabilities. So we're talking improved image quality, better understanding of your prompts.
Right.
Even when those prompts are maybe a little bit
rambly.
Yeah. A little bit all over the place, and then much better coherence, especially with details like hands.
Oh, the hands.
And intricate objects. I mean, anyone who has spent any time.
The bane of AI image generators. Those hands. It's like, you can always tell, it was AI if the hands are just like
A mess.
Yeah, a jumbled mess.
Yeah. So if they've truly, nailed this.
Right. If V7 has really cracked the code on hands,
Yeah.
that is a major step forward.
Huge.
Towards, not just photorealism,
Right.
but really imagery that you can actually use for real projects.
Yeah, yeah.
And the improved prompt comprehension, that's big too.
Right.
The closer the AI can get to understanding exactly what you're asking for, the less time you have to spend tweaking and rewriting your prompts to kind of nudge it in the right direction.
Yeah, it's almost like, if you can get that vision out of your head
Right.
as clearly as possible through the prompt, then you're good to go.
Yeah, it becomes much more of a collaboration
Yeah.
between you and the AI.
And then there's this draft mode, which I think is super practical.
Okay.
It runs at half the cost
Nice.
and 10 times the speed.
Wow, that's fast.
It's really fast. And the newsletter says it's designed for rapid idea iteration and also works really well with voice prompts. So imagine, you're just kind of speaking your creative vision.
Right.
And you can, boom, you see a quick draft,
I like that.
of what you're thinking.
Very cool.
Especially for you, when you're on the go brainstorming.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a game changer.
Yeah.
For those early stages of a project where you're just trying to get ideas down, explore different possibilities and, the speed and lower cost. That just means that you can try out so many more things without having to invest a ton of time or money.
Right, exactly.
And the voice prompt thing, that suggests that they're really trying to make the creative process more intuitive.
Yeah.
Less about typing in very specific commands.
Yeah.
And more about, just expressing your vision naturally.
Yeah.
However it comes to you.
Lowering that barrier.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like they're trying to make it more fluid.
More accessible.
More accessible
Yeah.
to everyone. The newsletter also says it's an iterative rollout. So over the 2-month alpha period, they're going to be releasing updates weekly or bi-weekly.
Oh, wow.
Based on user feedback.
That's a really smart approach, I think.
I think so too.
Because it really makes it a collaborative process between the developers and the users. They get it into people's hands early. They get that feedback, and then they can fine-tune it to really meet the needs of the community.
And make sure it's really what people need.
Exactly.
And this V7 didn't just appear out of thin air.
No, I imagine not.
The newsletter says they've been testing it internally since January of this year.
Okay.
And they did a complete overhaul of the model architecture, all the data they used to train it. And apparently they were even thinking of releasing it earlier.
Oh, interesting.
But they decided, no, we need more time to refine this. So.
Well, that makes sense, given their, those bold claims about it being the best yet. Clearly, they wanted to make sure it lived up to the hype and deliver something truly special for the users.
So let's talk about what people are saying about the user reactions.
Okay, yeah.
So there's definitely a lot of positive feedback. People are saying, like, better image quality, outputs feel, super artistic, more cinematic.
Oh, interesting.
There's talk about improved prompt adherence.
Okay.
And then, like, an overall more polished style.
That's all really promising.
Yep.
I mean, those are all things that, people have been asking for from these AI image generators. So it sounds like they're making progress in the right direction.
But it's not all sunshine and roses.
Okay.
Some users were, hoping for more, like a more significant leap forward.
Yeah.
One comment that the newsletter mentions is, I thought I'd be blown away, but I'm not yet.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Sometimes the hype can get ahead of reality.
Right.
And it takes a while for the software to catch up to people's expectations.
Yeah.
But the yet there is key.
Yeah.
It's still early days
for
V7.
And there's a suggestion that maybe it requires a different way of prompting.
Oh, interesting.
To really get the most out of it.
Okay.
So it's almost like the tool itself has evolved.
Right.
Now the users need to kind of like level up their skills in order to keep up. So
yeah, you see that a lot with these kinds of significant software updates.
Right.
What worked in the previous version might not be the best way to use the new one.
Yeah, have you experienced that?
Oh, absolutely. That happens all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's just part of the learning curve that comes with, staying on top of the latest technology.
And then there's some more kind of specific points of feedback.
Okay.
So apparently style references or srefs, they still work in V7.
Okay.
But they are producing different results.
That could be tricky.
Yeah, which is causing a bit of disruption.
Yeah, if people have built their workflows around a certain behavior, and then that behavior changes, it can be a real headache.
Exactly. And then there's this comment about V7 having nerfed the boobies.
Oh my!
Which I guess delicately put indicates that there are changes in how the model renders
certain features.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exaggerated or stylized features.
Right.
And not everyone is happy about it.
Clear's throat. Well, that's certainly a colorful way to put it.
I know.
But it does highlight, how passionate people are about these tools and how even seemingly small changes can have a big impact on their creative process and what they're able to create.
Yeah, and the newsletter does a good job, I think, of providing context here by reminding us that Midjourney V6 back in December 2023 got a lot of praise for its photorealism and text rendering, and then they launched that web interface in August 2024.
Right.
So, this is an active community with high expectations.
Absolutely.
So any new release is going to be scrutinized.
Yeah.
And, the newsletter kind of frames this alpha as a period of collaboration and refinement.
Yeah, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's not just about, releasing a finished product. It's about getting feedback, iterating, improving, making sure that it really meets the needs of the people who are going to be using it.
So bring it back to the listener.
Okay.
Why does this launch matter?
Well, for you as a creative person,
Yeah.
it's clear that V7 offers some really powerful new tools and a new level of visual fidelity.
Right.
But as we've been discussing, it's not just going to be a plug-and-play kind of situation. You're going to need to adapt. You're going to need to, prompt smarter and maybe even rethink some of your established workflows to really take advantage of what it can do.
Right. So it's not just the AI getting better. You also need to improve your skill.
It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one of the most exciting things about this whole field.
Yeah.
It's not just about, passively consuming what the AI produces. It's about, actively engaging with it.
Yeah.
Learning how to use it effectively.
Elaborating.
Yeah, collaborating. And that's where the real magic happens.
Absolutely. Okay.
Let's do two cats eating picnic in a park.
They're also eating strawberry. Add a unicorn in the background.
Actually, do you understand me better if I speak Norwegian? Vi har gjort alt det her, men vi tar og flytter oss til skikkelig norske fjell. So I just told it to be a little bit more mystical, having like this Soria Moria feeling, which is an artwork from Norway. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Create a cinematic shot of an egg-shaped witch in the middle of the autumn forest.
Okay, make 100 of these little tiny chickens in a photographic style.
Add a whale flying in the background.
화면을 노려보고 있는 모습으로.
Let's move on to topic number 2 here from the AIDB newsletter.
All right.
This is the Pikaframes update.
Okay.
So Pikaframes is a feature within Pika 2.2 that focuses on AI-generated video animation. And the big news here is it now supports up to 5 frames.
Oh, that's a big jump.
It is a big jump.
From what they had before.
Right. So the newsletter explains that, prior to this update, you were limited to 2 keyframes for videos lasting up to 10 seconds.
Yeah, so basically you had your starting point and your ending point.
Right.
And the AI would fill in the rest.
Right.
But now, with up to 5 frames, you can create much smoother, more detailed animations. Right. And they can be up to 25 seconds long.
That's a big difference.
It is.
Yeah. So you have a lot more control.
Much more control, yeah.
Yeah, over the animations, kind of like path and those nuances.
It's not just about the beginning and the end anymore.
Right.
You can really shape the journey in between.
And the newsletter says, it's still really intuitive.
Okay, good.
You upload your photos, now up to 5.
Right.
You specify the transitions, and then the AI generates these fluid 1080p animations with natural-looking motion.
That's really impressive.
It is.
And important, especially for people who might not have a lot of experience with animation.
Right.
Keeping it simple and easy to use is key.
Exactly.
And it sounds like they've managed to do that while also giving you more creative control, which is a tough balance to strike.
It is, and it sounds like people are really excited about it.
Yeah.
The newsletter mentions all this positive feedback, on platforms like X and other online sources. Early April 2025.
So very recent.
Very recent.
Yeah.
People calling it a massive upgrade.
Wow.
So it seems like they really hit the mark with this update.
Yeah, when you get that kind of overwhelmingly positive response, it usually means that you've tapped into something that people really needed and wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sounds like that's what they've done here.
The newsletter points out that it's got potential for crafting short films.
Ooh.
And other kind of dynamic video content.
So not just, little social media clips anymore.
Right. It's kind of opened up.
Yeah, more ambitious projects.
Yeah, to a much broader spectrum of possibilities.
That's exciting.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, how straightforward this is.
Okay.
You upload your images, you adjust the duration of the transitions. Those can range from 1 to 10 seconds.
Okay.
And then you just export your final video 1080p.
Sounds pretty simple.
It does, and the newsletter also says that this update builds on Pika 2.2, which, launched earlier this year.
Right.
So they're constantly adding and refining features.
Which is great to see.
It is.
It shows that they're really committed to making this a powerful and versatile tool.
And for those of you who are like, okay, where do I find out more?
Yeah.
They recommend checking out pika.art.
Okay.
And then also their community channels.
Good places to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, official channels and community forums are always a good way to get the latest information.
Yeah.
And see what other people are doing with the software.
Okay, so why does this Pikaframes update matter?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that it just gives you a lot more creative flexibility with your video animation projects. You know, being able to work with up to 5 frames.
Yeah.
That just opens up so many more possibilities for storytelling, for creating really engaging visuals.
Right.
And the fact that it's still so easy to use, that means that it's accessible to a wide range of creators, whether you're, you know, a hobbyist or a professional.
Right.
And I think it also just, you know, points to the fact that these AI video generation tools are getting better all the time.
Yeah.
They're becoming more powerful, more versatile.
Right.
And that's really exciting for anyone who's interested in using video to tell their stories.
Okay, let's move on to our third topic from the AIDB newsletter.
All right.
And this is Adobe getting into the AI video world.
Okay.
With a new tool in Premiere Pro. It's called Generative Extend.
Generative Extend, all right.
So this feels different than like those full AI generation tools we were talking about.
It's more about enhancing existing workflows rather than replacing them entirely.
Yeah, what do you think about that approach?
Well, I think it makes sense for Adobe,
right? Because
they have, you know, such a strong base of professional users who are already very familiar with Premiere Pro.
Right.
And so instead of trying to, you know, completely reinvent the wheel, they're focusing on making those existing workflows more efficient, more powerful, and less painful, frankly.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, video editing can be a very tedious process sometimes.
It can.
And Generative Extend seems like it's designed to alleviate some of that tedium.
Right. So the core function here is actually pretty simple.
Okay.
It automatically extends both video and audio clips.
So if you're a little bit short on footage, you need to stretch things out a bit.
Yeah.
This can do that for you.
And it does it up to 4K resolution.
Which is huge.
It is huge.
Because you don't want to compromise on quality just to save a little bit of time.
Right, exactly.
So if they can maintain that 4K resolution while also extending those clips, that's a real win.
So think about how often, you know, you might need just a little bit more to like bridge a gap.
Right, or you need a sound to linger for just a second longer to really let the moment breathe.
Yeah. Or like B-roll.
Yes. B-roll is a classic example.
Yeah, like just running short on B-roll and you're like, ugh.
And going back and shooting more, it's not always feasible.
Not always feasible.
Time, money, all of that.
Right. So this is a potential solution to those problems.
Yeah, exactly. It's a way to get around those limitations and keep your projects moving forward.
And the newsletter goes on to say that it can also it can extend, you know, lengthen video and audio using AI-generated content. Supports vertical video formats.
Oh, that's important these days.
I know, right?
With TikTok and all that.
TikTok, Reels, all of that.
Yeah.
So for audio, it can extend ambient sounds up to 10 seconds independently or up to 2 seconds with video extensions.
So it can handle both video and audio extensions. That's great.
What do you think about those format and audio capabilities?
Well, I think they're really important, especially the audio part.
Yeah.
Because, you know, extending audio naturally, it's hard.
It's really tricky.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it to sound choppy or repetitive.
Right.
And so if Adobe has figured out a way to do that seamlessly, that could save you a ton of time and effort.
Exactly. But that's not all.
Oh, there's more.
There's more. They've also rolled out this media intelligence search panel.
Okay.
So this uses AI to analyze your video clips. And it can identify things like people, objects, camera angles, and you can actually search your footage using natural language queries.
So I could just type in like, find the shot with the person wearing the red hat?
Yes.
That's amazing.
It is. For anyone who's working with a lot of footage,
yeah,
that is a huge time saver.
I mean, that could literally shave hours off of your editing process.
Yeah, exactly.
And free up more time for you to actually be creative.
Right. And then finally, there's a caption translation feature.
Okay.
That can instantly translate subtitles into 27 different languages.
That is so useful.
I know, right?
Especially for reaching a global audience.
Yeah.
Because, you know, manually translating subtitles,
it's a pain.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's so time consuming.
Time consuming and expensive.
Yeah, so, you know, from your perspective as a video creator, why does this matter?
Well, I think it shows how AI can be used to solve very specific problems in a professional context. It's not just about generating content from scratch.
Right.
It's about taking those existing tasks, those pain points that we all deal with, and making them easier, faster, and less frustrating.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to make your life easier.
Exactly, and that's ultimately what good technology should do.
Adobe Premiere Pro is equipped with AI that works for you, making video editing faster, smarter, and easier than ever before. The revolutionary Generative Extend tool, powered by Adobe Firefly, magically adds new frames for perfectly timed edits. Now you can hold on a character reaction for an extra beat, add room tone or extend sound effects, and cover transitions when you run out of media. You can generate from the end of a clip or from any trim point in your sequence. Your media is never used to train Adobe's AI models. It's only used to create the extension, ensuring that your content remains private and under your control. Give Generative Extend a try with limited-time complimentary access. All new AI-powered media intelligence helps you find the right shots fast. Premiere Pro can now recognize the content of your clips, including objects, locations, camera angles, and more, in seconds. Simply use the new search panel to describe a shot using everyday language. It'll instantly find matching visuals, spoken words, or content with embedded metadata, like shoot date, all at the same time. Quickly scrub through thumbnails or scroll through transcripts. You'll get search results from across all open projects. You can jump to relevant moments in the source monitor or edit a result straight into the timeline. Media intelligence analysis is faster than real-time and runs locally on your device. No internet connection required. You'll spend less time hunting for the perfect clip and more time editing your story. Premiere Color Management makes it easy to get great, consistent color right from the start without having to use LUTs. Powerful new tone mapping automatically transforms your imported camera raw and log footage into balanced HDR and SDR. With 6 simple presets to choose from and an all-new wide gamut color pipeline, it's easier than ever to match multiple cameras. Plus, you get more creative control when color grading log footage. Translate captions into different languages so you can go global and increase your audience without leaving Premiere Pro.
Bueno, mi nombre es Laura.
AI-powered caption translation can generate multilingual captions in up to 27 languages. You can even have multiple caption tracks visible at the same time. It's often the little things that matter most. We've listened to the community and are addressing some of your top requests. Waveforms dynamically grow and shrink with volume adjustments. There's faster H.264 performance and audio conform, along with faster audio peak file generation, sequence label colors, and more. The all-new Adobe Premiere Pro lets you fly through edits smarter, faster, and easier than ever before. Update today.
Okay, our final topic.
Right.
From the April 4th, 2025, AIDB newsletter takes us to the world of e-commerce.
Okay.
This is Amazon testing an AI-powered shopping assistant called Buy For Me.
Interesting.
So this could bring some pretty big changes for online shoppers.
Yeah, potentially, depending on how it's implemented.
So the idea is that if you're searching for something on Amazon,
and they don't have it in stock, this AI agent will recommend listings from other retailers.
Oh, interesting.
So you can actually complete the purchase without ever leaving Amazon.
So it's like it's keeping you within their ecosystem, even if you're buying from someone else.
That's exactly it.
That's pretty clever.
Right.
Yeah.
And the newsletter says that, it's a really seamless experience.
Okay.
The AI agent goes out, finds the product on these other websites, selects it for you,
Right.
and then fills in all your information.
Like shipping address, payment details.
All of that.
That's a lot of automation.
It is.
It's almost like having a personal shopper.
Yeah.
Who just happens to be an AI.
And the newsletter points out that Amazon's not alone in this.
Oh, okay.
OpenAI, Google, Perplexity are all looking at this kind of technology.
So it's definitely a trend
to
watch.
So the newsletter says there are 2 key reasons why this Buy For Me thing is a big deal. First of all, it could make Amazon even more dominant.
Right, because it keeps people within their platform.
Exactly, even if they're buying from other retailers.
Yeah, so it's all about that user engagement, keeping people on their site, interacting with their services.
Right. And then the second reason is that this could be a major shift in how we shop online.
Yeah, I mean, if this kind of technology becomes widespread, it could really change the whole e-commerce landscape.
Right, because imagine, like, all of a sudden you don't have to go to all these different websites.
Yeah, you just go to Amazon and they handle everything.
Exactly.
That could be very appealing to a lot of people.
It could. It could.
But it also raises some questions about, competition.
Right.
And consumer choice.
Yeah, like if Amazon is the gatekeeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How does that affect the smaller retailers who are trying to reach those same customers?
So, a lot to think about with this Buy For Me trial.
A lot to think about, yeah.
It definitely feels like things are changing.
Yeah, the future of e-commerce is being written right now.
Yeah, right in front of us.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the April 4th, 2025 edition of the AIDB newsletter.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground.
We did. We talked about Midjourney V7, those advancements in AI image generation, the Pikaframes update, all those possibilities for video animation.
Right.
Adobe getting into AI video editing, very different approach.
Yeah, but still very important.
Very important. And then Amazon's Buy For Me.
Right, the AI shopping assistant.
Which could change everything about how we shop.
Yeah, it's a bold experiment.
It is.
Sure.
So the pace of innovation is fast and furious, folks.
It is, and it's only going to get faster.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
So a final thought for you to consider.
Right.
Thinking about all of this, how might your own creative workflows or your online shopping habits change in the near future?
That's a great question.
What new opportunities?
Or challenges.
Do these tools present for you?
It's something we all need to be thinking about.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
For this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
We encourage you to, continue exploring these topics and consider those broader implications of AI.
Absolutely.
In your own life.
Yeah. It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we choose to use it.
And how it shapes the world around us.
Exactly.
All right. Until our next deep dive together.
See you then.